And now we leave that to come and promise the people will give you rental allowance. You have won power in 2020, 2021, 2022. You have not paid the rent. Young people today, if you ask them what the majority of their income consumes, is rent. Rent, transport, feeding, clothing. Not so far the tight kakra. Rent, transport, feeding, clothing. Then he find Vice President Baumia's video for me promising that he will pay the rent of the Ghanaian youth. He promised them, Dr. Baumia. He was in white. He promised the people of Ghana, the young people of Ghana, that will pay your rent for you. I see there's backtracking on there. You can use your Ghana card to go and travel. Blah, 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 blah. And I say, when you are traveling, take your passport along. We need a woo. Everything must be politics in this country. Why? Why? You promise young people, that you're going to pay their rent for them. Young people, today who are being evicted, today who are patching, today who are just trying to be paddies because they cannot afford the rent. Play Dr. Baomia's video for me.
We are, God willing, going to focus a lot on in the next term. There are three components of our housing policy. It is clear that there are a lot of youth who, when they finish school, just trying to rent accommodation is a big problem. And why is it? The large demands for rent allowance. Sometimes up to 2 years demand. But someone who is finished school and just starting a job doesn't have those savings to pay all these huge demands for rent allowance. The landlords, on the other hand, have gotten used to asking, even though the law says 6 months, they've gotten used to asking for 2 years and insist on it because they are saying that they don't know if the tenant will run away or not, so they want to collect it up front. So there is a market failure. There's a market failure between what the tenants want and what the landlords want. And this is why government has decided to come in and bridge this market failure by setting up a national rental assistance scheme. And under this scheme, you know, if you have a job and we can deduct regularly from your income, under this scheme, the National Rent Assistance Scheme will give you a loan to pay your rent allowance. But it is, we are paying this not to you, but to the landlord. And then we will deduct monthly as you would normally pay. So we are bridging this. You need to have a formal employment, which will allow us, or guarantee, someone who will guarantee.
Bossu, you promised nothing. Officer Doolittle, I don't know what to call you, doctor, I don't know. You promised everything, national renta, blah, blah, blah. You deduct from their income. Even the jobs that they will find to have the income for you to deduct from, they can't find the jobs. Nananapko. You saw them on the streets. You didn't see them. Oh, maybe the president was out of the country. Vice president, you saw them on the street. You're acting president. Did you see them on the streets? Even the income that you want to deduct their rent from, there's no income to deduct from. If I am a national service person today and I earn 559 Ghana cedis and you have not paid me for 3 months, which income are you deducting from? Bozu, answer. And for those of you who come on air, come and sit here and come and say, oh, they are in a better place, blah, 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 blah. Your salaries are paid regularly. So you are not being fair to the young people. You promise them rent, their salaries are not in, their allowances are not in, you cannot deduct. So they are just hopeless. And most of the young people, you see them, they have identity crisis. Young people, 30, 35 years, 40 years, they have identity crisis because nothing they happen. You promised them rent. He said we were going to give them rent assistance. You won power in 2020, 2021, 2022, February. No show. So the question is, are you happy that you have made a promise to people, your children and your grandchildren, Mr. President, and you have not fulfilled that? I'm just asking you, I'm not insulting. I'm asking you that you made a promise to the people, rental allowance, and Dr. Baumia, he diagnosed the problem. He said, this is the reason. So we will not pay to the tenant, we pay to the landlord. As for your rent control department, don't talk about them. Because your rent control department, they are near useless. Your rent control department, oh, they are near useless. Have a problem with your landlord, take it to rent control department. You regret. Rent control department are supposed to know which house has been rented, which house has not been rented. It's just there like that. I'll get into the rent control department very, very soon. Not today. I'll get into it. I will show you the certificates of the boss of the rent control department. And I'll diagnose for you whether the rent control department boss is qualified to be in that seat or not. And I will ask a critical question, what their perfect role is. And when I finish, I will ask also if they are pursuing landlords to pay rent tax. When I finish that one too, I will ask them how many agents they have legitimized or licensed to be taking people around to say they are taking inspection fee. Because young people are paying too much. They are inspecting, they go and Roma 50 cities, they go and Roma 70 cities, they go and Roma 30 cities. They are looking for one single place to stay. One. Meanwhile, we are supposed to have a rent control department. What was the input of the rent control department in the policy that was announced by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Baumia, the rent assistance? What was their input? Did they have an input? And that is why in the coming days, I will demonstrate to you that our rent control department, we have to sanitize it. Because young people are sweating in this country for rent. You get your money, you are paying rent, you pay water, you pay electricity, transport, asa, finish. Sometimes you even owe your pastor tithe, you can't pay. As a Muslim, you can't do saraka. It's a shame. And we were promised by the president, no less a person, and the vice president of the rent assistance allowance. So I say, more than 1 year on, where is the money? The young people are asking you, Mr. President. You were lucky, Mr. President. Your father was a big man. He took you to London to go and learn. You came back, taught as a cracker, so you're a big man. They left houses for you. You are fine. What about those of us whose fathers didn't have even a wooden spoon in our mouth? We had to be eating clay on our own. Where's the money? You promised the young people that you were going to pay their rent. Nana Akumia reiterated it. I'm just reminding you, last Friday when I showed the Nanto hospital, you were happy. You made calls. I know. Today I'm asking you, the rent assistance allowance that you promised the young people of this country, where is it? Where is it? You promised the young people that you are going to pay their rent. Where is it? You said you were not going to give them the money, you give it to their landlords. Where is the money? Where is the rent assistance allowance? Saglemi, rent assistance. And you are still in power. We have the men. You have the Minister for Works and Housing. Asensotri, good morning to you. You are Minister for Works and Housing. Good morning to you. Were you part of the policy decision to announce to the people of Ghana, especially the young people, that you were going to give them rent allowance? Were you part? If you are not part, come and show. Come and show your palm. The young people, and Mr. President, this is my final one to you. I say, disguise yourself one day. Go to town. Sit in a tinted vehicle and listen to the conversations in town. The people are disappointed in you. They say, Nana Dada Yang, you have lied to them. You have deceived them. One is what I brought to you, rent allowance. Sikano. Good morning.
Right. And it will take me and you. That's why I always watch Johnnie's Bite.